Hey guys, this is Ed with CMC Reptiles. Want to do a video on these new African green toads I picked up from Underground Reptiles. I've had them for about 2 months now. I love frogs, toads, any kind of amphibians, and I've picked up several things from Underground over the years. Blue tongue, Savannah monitors, Uromastyx, Pac-Man frogs, pixie frogs, cane toads, of course these toads. All kinds of stuff. I love working with Underground Reptiles, never have any issues with them. These are the newest editions of the toads that I did pick up. So these are field collected animals. In other words, they are wild caught. They're pulled out of the wild. They basically live in the parts of Africa, the northern parts of Africa, like Egypt, Morocco, even find them in parts of Sicily. They live in the more tropical areas, of course, because toads do need to be in the more higher humidity, near moisture, rain, water, that type of thing, because they will dry out if they are not in the proper climate. These guys do like to burrow. They'll dig, they go under where you can't even see them, sometimes can't find them, thinking they might have got out. So you want to make the substrate pretty deep. I have Repti bark and jungle mix mixed together. So maybe about 4 inches, 5 inches deep. This way it gives them deep enough where they can burrow to the point where they could submerge their entire body. They like to do that once in a while. So you want to keep the enclosure pretty damp, not soaking wet, but you do want to keep it damp. These aren't tree frogs, they're toads, so they don't need to be sopping wet. Keep a decent sized water dish in the center, so they do need some water access, and I do use only spring water. I don't like using tap water on any kind of frog or toad, just because their skin is sensitive. Our water here is pretty hard, a lot of calcium, and I'm not sure if that's the best thing for a frog or a toad. So I just make sure I have tons of spring water on hand for these guys, spraying them down and putting in their water bowl. Right now I just have them in a 40 gallon, so it works out perfect for these guys. Just a screen top. I keep them in my reptile room where the ambient temperature is about 82 degrees, so it's nice and humid in here, and I spray this down at least once a day. Like to feed them crickets, super worms, red worms. They'll even eat some chicken liver, but one thing they like, they go by, their feeding responses seems to always be on movement. As you can see right here, I'll drop a super worm here in front of them, and this one of these guys will come out and get it. First come, first serve with these two. So I always make sure they each get some food. I'll never leave, but if the other guy lacks off, like you can see, this guy got both meals. But you can see this guy is pretty chubby. He's getting plenty to eat. So I make sure I give him a little bit each day, because these are subadults. They're gonna get about 4, at the most 5 inches long. So they're a decent sized toad. Right now, I would say they're about a little over 2 inches long in length. And they will live up to 10, 12, 15 years. And, you know, in captivity. I'm not so sure about the wild. But these guys can live together. I know toads can be cannibalistic, but they are about the same size. So I'm not too worried. I think they'll be just fine. They're definitely too small to swallow each other, so they're fine. They seem to get along just fine. They kind of both live in that little hut right there. They like to burrow down a little bit. They seem to be cuddling right now, so they like each other. But they're really cool animals. They're characters. They're great for education. Not so much a birthday party, because they're not the best animals to handle because of their sensitive skin. You know, our oils in our skin could damage their skin. So if you do handle them, you want your hands washed and wet when handling. It's probably the best way, or just wear gloves. And you can see this guy is actually going to the bathroom right now. So these guys are great. I love amphibians. I love having, I'm probably going to get a few more of these just to have in the collection. I probably could put 2 more in this enclosure. It's big enough, and they'll be just fine. As long as they're the same size, I feel they're pretty communal. I mean, I grew up near a creek, and there was hundreds of toads, frogs, everything that lived in this creek, and those things thrived. I know that's outdoors, it's a different type of living, but I think they'll be just fine. And that is a first. I have actually never seen a frog go poop. So that's a first for me. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to, I'll keep you posted on these two, and I'll do updates on them as they grow. But pretty easy to care for. If you ever think about getting a toad or a frog, you know, try these African greens. They're pretty neat animals. I mean, they have this green, almost army camouflage to them. And they actually have some that are almost a reddish orange color. So they have different color patterns. It's pretty neat. I was lucky enough to pick up these 2 green colors. I like them. But they are hardy animals, like most animals that do come out of Africa. Nature makes these guys tough just because of the climate they live in and all the predators that are after them in the wild. These guys are tough. They are hardy, and they are hard to kill. So it's not something that, you know, they don't need any kind of lighting or anything like that. You just want to give them some nice substrate, food, calcium, dust their food once in a while, like anything else while they're growing, but just cool animals to have. And Underground Reptiles has just a massive collection of amphibian stuff, actually of everything, because like I said, I've picked up blue tongues, savannas, uromastyx, cane toads, pac-mans, pixies, these guys, all kinds of snakes. I've got a lot of stuff from Underground Reptiles over the past 7 years, and I've never had any issues. So I'll keep you posted on these 2 characters, and I will talk to you guys later.